Hello, everyone. This is the White Yoda podcast. I'm Ryan Dunkel. I'm your host, and I am the White Yoda. So, guys, all of us go through difficult times. We all go through times where we have so many decisions to make, so many problems to deal with that we can't figure out what to do next. We go through these times where everything that we've worked for on ourselves and everything that we are falls apart. We go through these times where we just feel empty inside. We feel broken, which is something that's causing a whole lot of pain in our lives. And this is something that every one of us goes through. I've been through my fair share of it. Every successful person in the world goes through it in their lives, or they have gone through it. It's not unique to anybody. We all go through these difficult times. But the thing that we don't realize when we're in it is that we have a choice. We can either stay in our negative state of mind over here, or we can come over and pull ourselves out of it. And that's really cliche. That's something that everybody always says. Oh, you have a choice. It's all about how you look at things, right? And it is. But what we don't pay enough attention on is the fact that we have to accept the negative things that have happened. You really have to, for an a period of time, you have to dive into the bad stuff that's going on in your life, the things that are making you feel bad. And you do that by just letting it all out. If you have to cry, you cry. I don't care who you are. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you have to break down in front of people that you care about and let it all out. But the thing is once you let it all out, that's when you end it. That's when this whole choice comes into play. Because once you let it all out and you have allowed it to exit your system, that's when you need to cut off all ties to this negative thinking. And you need to make sure that you're only thinking positive thoughts, because that's how you're going to pull yourself out of it, okay? And based on recent things that I've gone through, I've kind of put together a group of things that have allowed me, once I break down and once I stop doing these negative thoughts, that have allowed me to pull myself out of that hole through past experiences. And it's this pulling yourself out is unique to every person. Everybody's going to have a different way of doing it. But these are some broad things that I've learned that I feel can provide some help to somebody that might be going through that situation right now, or might go through it in the near future. So guys, the first thing that I found is that when you're going through this negative state of mind and you don't know what to do with your life and you're kind of just feeling like crap, you don't have a reason to get up in the morning. You don't want to get up because you're just feeling so bad. You gotta find something to work on. You gotta give yourself a purpose, because it's true. When you're feeling like crap, you don't feel like doing anything. You want to lay in bed all day and sleep and watch TV, and that's not how you pull yourself out. So you gotta give yourself a purpose. Go dive into schoolwork, dedicate yourself to your job, find something about yourself that you don't like and work on it. Go help out somebody in your community or your community in general. Give yourself a reason to wake up for the next few days or the next few weeks until you can pull yourself out of that. And then once you decide what it is that you're going to do to pull yourself out of it, what purpose you're gonna strive for the next however long it is you decide, you got to shock your system. That very first day that you start on this journey, you've got to wake up earlier. That's the first step. You got to wake up an hour and a half earlier. And then once you get your day going, shake up your schedule. Don't do things the same way that you were doing them last week that left you in this negative state of mind. You got to tell your body and your mind, hey, I don't care who I was last week. I'm not the same person now. We're going to do things differently. We're going to do things my way, and we're going to get rid of all these negative thoughts, and we're going to start going this way to the positive thoughts that we have, okay? And that's a big part of pulling yourself out of it. And then once you start on this journey, this purpose, and you've shocked your system and you're getting into it, you got to block out all the noise. That's the social media and the TV. Social media is a wonderful thing to have. It can give a lot of positive vibes in your life, a lot of good, happy vibes. But the problem with it is that people post their lives on it. And on a normal basis, that's not a bad thing. But when you're at your lowest point and you're feeling very bad about yourself and you're not necessarily at your most secure point, when somebody's posting their highlight reel on social media, because that's all they post, they never post the bad things, it's always the good things, then you start comparing yourself to them and you start feeling inadequate because you're at your lowest point, but you're seeing their highest point. And you can't make that, your mind doesn't make that connection. You just see where they are at right now and where you're at. And so you start feeling bad about yourself. The same goes goes for TV. It's very, very difficult for you to feel good about yourself and about the way the world's going when you surround yourself with drama relating to celebrities or famine, war, and poverty that's going on in the rest of the world. So you got to really distance yourself from that, and you got to block it out. I mean, that's you block out that negativity. That's what that phrase means, is to get rid of those aspects of things. And along to kind of go with that, you've also got to figure out how to be alone. You've got to an extent, you got to block out people that might be important to you. And it's a very difficult thing to do at the time. And it's something that I'm still learning, and I've made my fair share of mistakes, and my fair share of mistakes very recently too. With that whole situation, you don't have to block them out completely out of your lives. I mean, you don't have to completely, stop talking to your friends or people that are very significant in your life. But you do need to spend at a minimum 30 minutes to an hour every day where you're alone in your thoughts, trying to figure yourself out. And you want to do it as much time as you can, but 30 minutes to an hour is a good little stopping, or a good little goal. And you just reevaluate yourself, figure out who you are, what you want out of life. Find out the things that you may have been missing over when you're running at 100 miles an hour, worrying about this negative stuff. And a good way to do that is to go out into the wilderness, go out to a park, go out to the woods, because we came from the wilderness, and so the birds chirping and the sun beating down on us, and the wind blowing by us, all of these things really help our bodies feel good. They naturally respond positively towards these aspects of things, and so that's why they say nature is one of the best antidepressants. You go out there and you feel a lot better about yourself and about the world and everything that's going on. And another way to help get rid of this negativity is to get rid of the cortisol in your body. And you do that by exercise. Like I said a few podcasts ago, cortisol is a chemical that's very beneficial as far as stress. But when you maintain stress and negative thoughts for long periods of time, the cortisol remains in your body, and it starts acting as a poison, starts breaking down your body and making you feel worse. So you got to get active. Do something. Go for a walk, go for a run, work out. I found that dancing is a wonderful way to feel better about yourself. And you go dance for 5 minutes, and I mean really let yourself out. I mean really get yourself up and moving, get yourself feeling the groove, not any of this, just shaking your shoulders thing. You've got to let yourself out. You go off on your own and don't worry about anybody else. So go off by yourself where nobody can see you and let loose. And do that for 5 minutes minimum, and I guarantee you'll feel so much better about yourself right in that part. But guys, most importantly, out of all of these things that I've said, you've got to dive in 100%. You can't half-ass it and expect to get full results. If you half-ass it, you're going to get half-ass results. And so if you really want to pull yourself out of this and stay out of it, you've got to give it everything you've got. Otherwise, you might pull yourself out. You might manage to do that. But then as soon as the next bad thing happens, no matter how minor, you're going to fall right back into it. So guys, to start wrapping this episode up, I have a quote by one of my favorite all-time speakers. He's been very beneficial to me in the last year and a half, and I listen to his podcast regularly. But his name is Andy Frisella, and Andy Frisella says, "Bad shit happens to everyone, and we all have a choice in how we react. Are you going to lay down, cry, and whine about how life isn't fair, or are you going to get up, dust yourself off, and kick the living shit out of every obstacle that stands in your way?" So guys, when you're in that pit of negativity and you don't know, and everything feels like it's collapsing around you, or negativity seems like it's attracted to you, you've got two options on how you're going to go about things. You can either remain in that negative state of mind and keep attracting more negativity and do that for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years and wind up still unhappy at 40 years old because you're stuck on things that happened to you in high school or college. Or you can decide right now, right today, that it doesn't matter what you're going through, doesn't matter what kind of pain you're in right now, that you're going to drag yourself out of that. You're going to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and you're going to pull yourself out, and you're going to lead a much happier and much more positive life despite whatever pain is going through you right now. And that's something that we don't realize at the time. We don't realize we have that choice, but you do. And once you realize that, and once you accept the fact that you're in control, you can pull yourself out and you can kick the living shit out of all that negativity in your life.